your goals don't be, oh, I want to be the baddest person in this area. All of a sudden, your goals can be, oh, I want to be a bank manager because this guy lives well and he does this. You know, it's just about inspiration. It's like most kids that would grow up and their parents never work. They get into this idea that it's okay not to work. Some people beat it, and some people end up saying, "No, my parent never worked. It's not okay." Yeah. But majority of people would fall into that thing that my parent never worked, so
it's not a big deal. They fall into that bracket.
Yeah.
They fall into, and you see, as a mother of young children, this is things I try to fight. And when I try to tell people the reason why I home care educate my kids, they think I'm just being sophisticated. I'm just trying to be, too over the top, right? But even so, like, it's the fear of I can see, like, I can see the brackets. I can see, like, this is how they've been defined, and I'm refusing for my children to fall into that definition. And so even in homeschooling, sometimes it means that I have to be aware of my surrounding. Like, even when kids come out to play, I'm like, let me make an assessment and see if this environment is okay for my kids to come out and play in. Do you get what I'm saying? I have to travel out for us to, whether we have a local library, but I have to try and go to places and intentionally put myself in groups of other people to extract positive information that I can bring to my children. That can be online, that can be in person. I have to, I'm being intentional about the information that I'm extracting. I'm being intentional about the environment I'm exposing my children to, because I don't want them to feel like this is all there is. It's like growing up, for instance, growing up in Southeast London, everybody, you only aspire to be a singer, a dancer, a footballer for boys, because that's all you saw. Yeah. And it's like, and it took me a while for me to realize that I love to read and write. I love to read and write. But I remember growing up, I had two friends that were like, okay, we're gonna start our own song groups. We started writing songs and, like, because that's all we saw. Yeah. No, there was nobody around for you to look up to, for you to think that. No role model. Like, oh my goodness, this, apart from Mallory Blackman. I read her books and that was inspiring. Okay, the black person could actually do this, and I love the way she can put a twist in her writing and stuff like that. So, it's inspiring to see that. But when all you can see, the representation that you see is very poor, it makes you feel like it's not possible. Yeah. It makes you feel like I can't achieve it.
And even with the prison is it's like, you say we're not in chains anymore. Well, prison's the new form of, like, slavery. Yes. Like literally, because there's no rehabilitation in terms of, like, prison. I don't feel like their focus is rehabilitation, because if their focus is rehabilitation, the majority of people that offend, like, go on to reoffend, and they don't make it easy for you to readjust when you leave.
And isn't it a free labor? Tell me more about that free labor aspect of it.
So it's like literally majority of the prisoners, like, in prisons, they have jobs, right? And their jobs is to, I don't know, it could be make benches, make chairs, work the field and whatever. It's free labor. So they get paid, like, what, 20p? Or something like that. I'm not quite sure on the actual maths of but it's no more than pennies, basically. Yeah. And they would work a normal day's job, just like you and me, but all they would get will be like 20.
Way less. That's like way less than minimum
right?
wage.
Way less than minimum wage. And some of the stuff that they're fixing and they get sold on, like by the government and stuff like that, into, like, it could be factories or people, like companies that need stuff built to the contract that they make profit off, right? But these lot are getting paid pennies. So, and majority of these are ethnic minority people from ethnic minority background, right? So the prison system to me is just something to replace slavery. Yeah. It was just a nice way to say, oh, we're gonna take slavery away.
So these people are in prison, and they're actually working a full-time job. Are you understanding? Like, they're working a full-time job. And they're getting way more than the minimum wage.
Way less.
And way less than the minimum wage. And maybe they just attach that 20p an hour or 30p or 50p an hour just so that they can feel good about themselves, the people that are doing it, so that they can cover up and say, look, it's not free.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, so to just say it's not
to protect
on paper.
They got those whole human rights.
Yeah.
So they need to tick the boxes.
Yeah.
They do human rights laws and stuff like that. So we don't want to. But that's practically what it is.
That's practically what it is. That's what I'm saying. You're still enslaved in terms of like the thing. For number one, it's easier for you as an ethnic minority to go to prison, right? So that's no coincidence.
And that's something we should talk about as well, because it's purposely easier. It's intentionally easier. Yeah.
Because if me and you got caught,
so it makes sense why you see like black young boys are being harassed, are being stopped and searched unnecessarily, are being arrested, tried unfairly and stuff like that. It makes sense because it's like, and we have to agree with certain things. You know that this melanin is good. Do you get what I'm saying? That it can endure. That we have that endurance, so it's necessary. It's like we can do the work, if that makes sense. We can endure.
There's the way of controlling our population overbuild as well. If they're like literally in terms of like, if there's so many people that are in prison for sentences like sometimes they didn't even do, or sentences of laws that don't even work. Like in America, in LA, there's some people that are still serving weed sentences. Now weed is legal in LA.
Wow.
Why are these people not being? Yeah, literally. Why are they still serving? Yeah. When something that you arrested them by the time but now it's something that's legal. Yeah. Should that case not be overturned or something like that?
Tell me more about the establishment of like these laws. Like the laws that are supposed to protect us, our rights and our laws. Are they there to protect all humans?
I don't think. I just think like literally most of the laws. Unfortunately, we do not have like a amendment or something like that, like America. But for instance, with America, I'll just use them because they're the ones that actually have an amendment that was written down for that they're keeping up to from their forefathers, basically. But realistically, when those laws were written, do you think they had black people or ethnic minority people in mind? So when that first line says all men should be treated equal, a room full of old white men, do you think they were saying that about their slaves? No, because the people that was in that room, some of them were slave owners. So when they say all men are equal, they're not talking about black people. So those laws were not created with black people in mind. So that's why even when they do stuff that's outside the Constitution, some of them in their mind, like the people in KKK, they're like, it doesn't matter. Yeah. These people are not. They're not.
Even in Britain, like for instance, access to proper legal representation. For instance, we already described the possibility and the likelihood, the high possibility of some people from ethnic minority to grow up in a poor background and to be systemized in this slavery form of way. And so, for instance, now they're being tried in court, maybe unfairly, maybe judged unfairly or whatever, and they don't have access to to proper legal system that could represent them well. That's also an issue as well. So as a result, they go to court and get tried, and they get convicted for something that if they had the finances,
they wouldn't be convicted. Yeah.
So that's also a reality that needs to be explored.
That's definitely a big part of it, because when you think about the law realistically is just who's got the most money. Yeah. Like we want to believe that is
if
fair. If
we want to believe that it is fair,
everybody will go down. But if somebody's got X amount of money, and they get into trouble, they will not get in the same trouble as you get into if you don't have the same money. Yeah. Because as long as I can, as you just said, as long as I can pay for a good lawyer, and all you can afford is the free lawyer that they give to you.
Yeah, the free ones.
Who do you think is going to win this case? Like literally, and then that's what I'm saying. Like literally, even with the that system, in that side of it, if you don't come from a background where your parents got money to say we have our own lawyer, you know what I mean? You get in something crazy. Okay, let me call my lawyer, and they'll be down there in 2 seconds, right? Yeah. Like literally, compared to if someone from a background that they don't have so much money. Let's say ethnic minority background, they don't have so much money, and you're in trouble. You need to wait for the police to contact for them to find somebody that might be able to pick up your case.
Even the emotional stress. The emotional stress of having to go through all of that, you know, it does something to you. You know, so and
they just know they can treat you more differently. The minute you don't have representation, they know you're fair game.
And I want to pinpoint the fact that the law is not as fixed as people think it is. Because you know, you speak to certain people like, no, that cannot happen. No, that's illegal. Do you get what I'm saying? I remember when I was mentioning something about what they're doing in the schools, I was mentioning it to another person. It's actually family related. And I was saying that this is what they're doing in schools. This is what they're doing to the children. This person was adamant that I was wrong. I have facts. I have evidence. Like, this is not just information. I have evidence that this is what they're doing in schools. She said it is not possible because it is illegal. Because the law says this, and so that's just what it is. But I'm thinking, no, in reality, things happen. They can alter that law. Don't you understand that the law changes? New president you can set a new president.
It's not written in stone.
You can set, they can rearrange it. By the time you know it, one person's case has set a new president that everybody else should follow. Until somebody else who is influential enough and has enough money to fight all the way. Don't forget, we have systems. Do you get what I'm saying? We have like systems in the court. So fight all the way to the top to be able to change the law again. The laws don't get changed down below. No. When you go to the county court or you go to tribunals or whatever, you know, that's not where they change laws. No. Literally, that's, and only the rich people can afford to go all the way up. Do you know how much money you have to spend to go all the way up?
Before you even change the law, it needs to go through Parliament. They need to vote on it. Like literally, like so even if you have a proposal to change a law, you have to write that proposal. That proposal needs to go to Parliament.
I mean, it's financially hectic, emotionally draining. Simple, you know, and it takes a lot of brain work. You know, it takes a lot of work, and then you have to have the right support system. And so we look at the black community or the ethnic minority community, and we think, how much of us how can we actually be able to even change anything? Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's because it's hard because you can have the people's voice, but it's hard to get the vote that matters. You know what I mean? Like literally, that's the thing, because majority of the people, loads of people like committed to their parties or whatever their parties believe or whatever. So loads of people are not even picking for themselves. They're just saying, "Oh, I'm Labour, I'm Conservative. So if this is what my party decides is best, they're just gonna follow that." Like you might get people in between that swing, but majority of people
even that in and of itself is a subject on the whole. Subject on its own.
But
because you're thinking, hold on, why are you giving me options? Why can't I just create? Like, why are you giving me this? Why are you telling me I have to pick this party or this party? Isn't true freedom that I actually decide that maybe I don't like all of you?
No, but that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's a whole.
That's
a rabbit hole. Like, literally, because if we go down that one, but it's true though. But it's just like literally. That is not.
You're not really giving me. You're just telling me pick one
option. You got two options realistically. Every time there's an election, you got two options. You might get a dodgy third, like we got Lib Dem one time, but usually you get
that's
two.
It.
Like
that's
literally,
it. Get out.
Even in America, it's two. In America, Democrats or Republican. Like there's other people that might do independent running and this, that, and the other. But you know the winner is gonna be Democrat or Republican. Over here is gonna be Labour or Conservative. It's always, no matter what happens, no matter how the poll looks or who's coming, these two people are going to be your option at the end of the day. It's up to you.
Which one
you go with. You don't really have
any more options.
Literally, you can vote for someone else, but you'd be wasting your vote. But like, at the end of the day, these two people are one of them are going to go in it. So it's like, just leave it at that. But I just feel like, it's like you're right in when you say that there's a lot of like stuff that already like that are placed that we don't really have. You don't really have control over. Like literally, it's just something that's going to happen. You know what I mean? And even with the Windrush thing, when they try to send back some of the Windrush people that came to help build
Can
the
you
country.
imagine?
Yeah, and then that's what you're talking about when isn't this the same system as slavery, when they're bringing people over to fix it. The Windrush people helped build this country. They were part of it. Like literally, when they're finished, you can go.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's what I'm trying to say. There's a whole history of that showing itself. They're more than happy to have us when we're doing well.
Yes, which is why you have to be concerned. Like when you see the floodgates opening, you know, when you have this knowledge and you see the floodgates opening and people are coming in, you sort of become concerned. Like, oh my goodness, history is repeating itself. Where are we going with this? Like, you know, your antennas go high and start like trying to like collect exactly what the true agenda is, because you know they don't always show you what the true agenda is, and quite unfortunately much more later on that's when you begin to understand that, okay, this is why you were doing this and you were doing that,
and you're just judged harshly. Like literally, even if the two footballers like Raheem Sterling, he has a tattoo, right? And
I don't know much about football.
I know you don't know much about football, but I'm gonna bring it to a level that you understand.
Yeah.
So he has a tattoo of like a gun on his scarf, basically, but he usually wears a socks. But for some reason, they decided to pick this up and put it in the front paper news to say, "Oh, he's portraying violence, and why does he have a gun on his socks?" But he when he plays football, you don't see this. So somebody has gone extra mile to get this shot and put it in the front page. Because if he's playing live on TV, he's wearing a football socks. So you would never see down to his calf. Like, the other shots might be training shots or whatever. But even besides that, even if he does have that and he do shit in the football, there's so many other white players with tattoos, with everything. But because it's him and he's black and they're trying to portray a way of violence, of a troublemaker, whatever. That's what they decided to focus on, and it's the same thing with Rashford. Rashford came out the other day and said, obviously, some of the media coverage he's getting is because of he alluded to the fact that it's because he's black, like, and that's why they're going so heavy on him. And to say on the other side, I don't think Rashford's been playing that well, right? That's true. He's not been playing that great, but I feel like there's been, because of what he did during the pandemic, I feel like there's been an emphasis on Rashford that...
What did you do during the pandemic?
They've been very... So, during the pandemic, the government said they will not be able to sponsor some kids' school lunch or something like that. They were in Manchester.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Rashford was one of the footballers that went and paid for all the kids.
Oh, wow. Lunch.
So, and then the government had a lot of pressure put on them by the people, like, oh, how can this one guy pay all them, and then you guys can't. So literally, and I feel like since he's done that, there's been they've been waiting. Yeah, like, I'm not saying Rashford's been playing amazing, and I'm not saying solely the bad press he's been getting is just because he's black. He's been playing horribly, so some of it is deserved. But I feel like they were waiting. And that's the thing with the British media. They wait.
Oh, yeah.
They
can put you up and bring you back down.
They're the best at it. It's what they do. It's what they do. They're very good at taking you from here and making everybody think you're God. And then within a blip, they'll smack you to the ground.
Yeah, just like that.
They've done it to David Beckham, Wayne Rooney, Rio Ferdinand. Like, the list keeps going on. Like, they would build you up so they can knock you down. Raheem Sterling, that I was just talking about just now, he doesn't even get in the England team no more. And not just because he doesn't, like, it's just because, that's what I'm saying, when you are black, you have to be at excellence all the time to get into that team.
Yes.
Where it's like...
So you go, now, you know, you touched on something that I think for some people that might struggle to convey it. Let me just capture that very quickly. When you are black, you have to be doing extra all the time. Yeah. So this is the performance level that we're talking about. The performance level. Because you're fighting against the stigma. Yeah. And you're fighting against the stigma that says you're not as intelligent, you're not as hardworking, you're not as dedicated, you're not from a good background. You're fighting that stigma. Yeah. And so, although the reality is that you don't have everything that you need to be able to be on the same level as everybody else, but before you can even push to be there, you have to shake off all those stigmas. Yeah. And you know, speaking as a woman, that even comes into our appearance as women. That's why you find a lot of black women would straighten their hair. They'll wear weave-ons. You know, they will style their hair in a certain way to appear European, so that you don't. There's a real anxiety to appear in your true self. Because if I walk into, and you know, it's something that even I have to think about as well. If I walk into a meeting room, where I know that this room is going to be a lot of European people, I know how they're gonna look at me with my hair like this. They look at hair like this, they're gonna think you look messy and tidy. Like, why didn't you at least hold it back? You know, and I've actually spoken to people who would never wear their natural hair to a professional office. They will never.
Because you get judged.
This is the natural state of my hair. Do you get what I'm saying? I wake up in the morning, this is what my hair looks like.
Yeah. So,
if I want to fit in, do you know what it takes for me to change to manipulate my hair? There's a lot of risk factors there. I have to put chemicals in my hair. I have to go through a lot of stress to put my hair in the state that is presentable and acceptable. Whereas the on the white counterpart, the lady wakes up in the morning, her hair is already straight. Probably has to brush it. You know, run a straightener through it. It's not the same for me. And I think if I brush it and run in a thing, that can even damage my hair.
Your hair don't work that way. Like,
do you get what I'm saying? So what I want people to truly convey when they say that we have to work twice as hard to get there as a black person, is that extra performance that you have to have to pretend to be someone who you're not.
I feel like
on a consistent basis.
Yeah, because it's like.
And then if you get to a place where you slack a little bit, that could be a drop. Yeah, the day I slack, I could drop in that hierarchy.
Yeah, you get one mistake.
Yeah,
that's just the truth.
And
you get one mistake.
It's not the same. So I just thought, let me capture that while you said it before, so that, because there are some people that who struggle. Because I used to struggle to wrap my head around it. Only as I grew up and as I matured, and as I found that this is how I'm perceived when I present myself like this. When really and truly, that's not who I am. And it's almost like you have to be ashamed of who you are. And obviously, when I'm in the black community, I can be myself. But when I'm approaching this community, even the way I talk, even the way you talk, like I can't just talk freely. Yeah, I have to kind of like compose.
It's your work voice.
Exactly.
Every black person has a work voice. I don't care who you are.
There's
like
a work
literally,
voice.
Every black person has a work voice. Like we all talk a certain way. When I'm at work, I talk a certain way. Yeah. And sometimes it's not even intentional. It's just because you realize your environment has changed.
Yeah, and it's extra work.
And these people are gonna perceive you a certain way if you don't talk this way.
Yeah.
Because they're gonna say, this guy's a bit. You know what I mean? Like,
you can tell the difference.
And literally, you just go into it. Like literally, you just like. I think it's the case for every black person that works in England. Like literally, because you get, as you said, you're just in a place where you feel like I need to adapt. Like, and it's so much, as you said, there's so much stress because when you're at work, you never feel like you're yourself.
Yeah.
And then that's why I feel like sometimes you find it hard to connect to people at work because you're not being your true self.
Yeah.
Because literally some people might have opinions on stuff that I might not feel necessarily the same.
Yeah.
But I'm at work. I can't give
express
my true.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I can't show my true self.
Yeah.
So because of that, like you find yourself not being able to fully connect all the time with everyone. That's why even at work you find that loads of people tend to keep friends with people of their own background.
Yes.
It's not a coincidence.
Yeah.
It's just like
I'm comfortable here.
I'm comfortable.
Yeah.
I'm comfortable saying my opinion to you because I know even if you don't agree, you get where I'm coming from.
You understand.
You won't feel offended. Yeah, I don't have to work too hard to explain to you what I'm trying to say to you.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's like literally that's some of the problems sometimes at work. It's just like because of this coding, like literally of the way you talk and everything, like people not themselves at work. And I feel like loads of people ethnic minority background have to go through this because just the way that you cope in England and stuff, and cope in the Western side of the world, to be honest. And I'll say that's another part of the like it's the system controlling you to like shape you to you shouldn't, you're almost taken away from what you should be proud of. And I'm not saying go to work and just talk your language and don't talk to nobody.
Yeah.
But I feel like to be able to be open and expressive and just to be yourself. But I feel like loads of people and you're not allowed to do that at work because literally, I'll be honest with you, I can't. I'm honest, but I know I can't be myself.
Yeah.
In certain areas of my work, you know what I mean? So like literally, so I do believe that is a problem, but I feel like that's still part of the system. It's just shaping you to
fit in. Like
just fit
this is
in.
what it is.
Yeah.
And there's no other
There's no other
alternative.
way. Yeah, it's either this way or the highway.
And if you're determined to be successful, you find yourself trying to rearrange yourself because your determination is I want to be successful.
Yeah, so you need to, and I think sometimes you gotta play the game, and sometimes I don't. That's what I say. I don't blame nobody for doing it because sometimes, unfortunately, it's just the game. Sometimes you gotta realize
but you know
you're
what's
doing
sad
it
is
to
that
get to a certain place.
certain people get there and they forget.
Yeah, that's the one thing you shouldn't do.
And then they don't try to make a change or make the process easier for the next people who are trying to make their way up. They just accept where they are.
And they've made it through.
And it's like they won't even. Some people are hushed tones. Like they won't even talk about it. It's like let's not talk. It's uncomfortable.
If you make it through it, you should try and show somebody or tell somebody and try to, coach somebody how to. If you just get one person through, you got one person through because that one person might get another one person
or
through.
Create a space for liberation, for true liberation. You know? And I know that takes more effort and more time, but now you're there. Do you know what I'm saying? So you can, even if it's as subtle or as slowly as you possibly can, create a space for there to be some sort of freedom for people to be more accommodating. I know we talk about it now, black culture, black lives and everything, but the reality is there are some professions that it doesn't matter how much you shout it to the rooftop, you go with your black culture and your black behavior and your black understanding, you're not gonna make it.
You're not gonna make it, no.
That's the reality.
That's the reality because you love to think it's different.
You like to think it's different,
but it's not.
It is all this noise that we're hearing. It only comes so far, and I think for me, I feel like it takes the people that have managed a way to get in there to start creating room for that liberation process. There was one more thing I was gonna ask you. We've gone really far now in time, but also like I wanted you to talk just a little bit, just briefly about the process of selection for health checks for like athletes. How that relates to systematic slavery.
Well, to be honest, I would say there's like a direct link, but there's like there's similarities. I'll say like literally similarities to it. So like literally in terms of like even when athletes checking their teeth, checking their bone density, checking their older like literally every single aspect of like trading somebody in the modern world of sport. There's loads of similarities to it, to like the way you would the way you trade a slave, because the way you trade a slave back in the day is the same thing. You needed to check their fitness, how young they are, how strong they are, how good is their muscle, how good is their teeth. You know what I mean? Like literally, you know what I mean? Do they have any diseases? So there's a lot. It's the same process. You know what I mean? There's similarities. Obviously, you can't say these athletes are making millions. So it's hard to that's why I say it's hard to just draw a straight line across it because slaves did not get paid millions. But the whole idea of it is still.
But you say they're getting paid millions. But I'm thinking like by comparison, if they were getting paid millions, if what we're saying now is true, everything that was spoken now is that. Divide and conquer. If they're getting paid millions, I can't help but to think the people that are above, how much more that they are.
Oh yeah. Do
you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like that's another.
Are they getting their actual value?
Yeah, but exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's a better way to put it. Are they getting their actual value? Because this can go as far as even in the entertainment industry as well.
Yeah.
You see them in Hollywood. You see them, on British TV and stuff like that. The black people, and you think, oh, that's good. They've made it that far, and you think to yourself. Have they really?
No. Because a lot of them like this shit, especially I'll say.
Or are they just a commodity? This is what we put in front of you. Like you are like a prop.
Yeah, this is what you get for now. But whether they get their enough of what they're worth and their value, that's based on the deals that they decide. But at the end of the day, you have to see it as a business. This person on top always is gonna make more profit than you.
Yeah.
No matter what job you do, the owner.
But are they a better representation? Like when they get up there, are they representing a true picture of what it means to make it or to be free as a black person?
But the thing is, I don't feel like they're free. That I feel.
That's the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah, I don't know that because I don't equate money to freedom.
Exactly.
Like literally, I think it's very foolish to equate money to freedom because we've seen on many instances.
I think they've just gotten a better.
Two things, them two things do not correlate.
Yeah.
If anything, that money makes you more of a target. So I think loads of people forget that. You think that's why loads of people say, "Oh, when I make money, yeah, all my problems will be solved and this, that, and But literally, I think being a rich black person makes you more of a target than you are as a poor black person. Because you as a rich black person, people like literally you like a beacon of hope, and if you use that wealth for good or whatever,
you get targeted.
You get targeted because you can actually make a change.
Yes.
If you start to use your voice to target things to make a change, then all of a sudden, like LeBron James, when he started to talk about Trump and started to get involved in politics, what did Donald Trump say? Shut up and dribble. Like literally, that is the whole idea. Is the fact that stick to what we pay you for. Don't go beyond. I don't want to hear you talk about politics. Like literally, because now you're taking people and you're actually convincing them, and that's the thing with your platform. I feel like when you become famous, it's not so much about your money; it's about what you do with your platform. Yeah. Because now you're one of the people that people would listen to. You have a voice. Like literally, you can make a change. If you say something, everybody it shakes the world. Yeah. And that was my whole point with the Rashford thing, is the fact that what he did and what he said, like basically, and kind of it showed the government out. No matter whether he intentionally meant to do it or didn't intentionally meant to do it, he pulled the government out. Yeah. Like literally, he made them look bad because he done something that they said was impossible to do, and one person could do it.
One person. And your whole government establishment.
And your whole government establishment, you couldn't do it. You know what I mean? So
it's just goes to show.
So that's what I'm trying to say. That literally, and I feel that's
but what. But I think the reason why I like the way you've articulated it very well. I think you've really helped to explain what was going on in my mind. Because the reason why I raised up the question is because my fear was not a fear, maybe a concern, is that a lot of young black people think that if I make it as far as football, if I make it as far as movies, I don't have to worry about all this systematic slavery. No. And that's not the truth. Because the truth of the matter is you're probably even more...
You're more twisted. Yeah, you're more changed.
Because when I'm broke, when I'm poor and broke...
No one cares.
Nobody cares about my opinion.
Yeah, no one cares about your opinion. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I'll tell you, what do you care?
Nobody's going to care.
But when you are up there, you have to shut up.
Yeah, because now you can move the needle.
You can't speak. At all. There's a consequence for your voice. So I like what you said when you said that it's not about the money. Money does not equate to freedom. But a lot of people think so long as I got the money, I can afford the protection and I can have the freedom.
No, like literally, because you not like it doesn't make you. It's like literally what is it like? It was like in the slavery times there was the house slave and there was the field slave. If you're a house slave, do you think you're any better than the field slave?
The house slave might think so.
Yeah, but the thing is, but is he?
No, of course not.
No, he's not. He's still a slave.
He's still a slave. He's still a
literally,
slave.
You're just in a better position.
Yeah.
But you're still a slave, aren't you? Like literally, you're wearing a suit. You're in the house. You serve the knife and fork. I'm in the field. I'm digging, cutting, or whatever. But at the end of the day, we do something wrong. Do we both not get beat? And that's exactly the policy now. You can have millions. If they catch you, Bill Cosby had millions, right? They caught him, whooped him, done.
Gone.
R. Kelly had millions, caught him, whooped him, done. Like literally, O.J. Simpson, millions, gone. Like literally, it doesn't matter. Even if for young people that say Young Thug, all the things that he was doing, and then everything that he's been caught up in now, he's in prison as well. That's what they say. Like literally, and I'm not saying all these people are innocent. I don't know the ins and out of their cases or whatever. I'm not claiming for their innocence. I'm just saying, when you are rich and you are black, they're coming after you.
Yeah.
Just know that. Like literally, because even the white people that have committed the same thing that you did, they'll find ways to we're cussing R. Kelly and Diddy or whatever and all these people. The queen, yeah, her own child.
Be careful,
No,
but I'm going to the throne.
No, but this is nothing. This is a well documented fact. Like he was on BBC News talking about this, and he refused. The FBI called for him to go for an interview. The British government refused for him to leave the country to go to that interview because they knew he was part of that. Allegedly, was part of that Epstein Island thing and all them things.
Who's that?
Prince Andrews, isn't it? Prince Andrews.
Really?
He's the Queen's child. He was part of it. You can after this, you can go on YouTube and look at it. There was interviews with BBC where he said his first excuse was, he'd never done anything with the girl because he doesn't sweat or something like that. Some nonsense. He did the interview on BBC News, and then literally the interview wasn't good enough, so the FBI asked for him to come over to for him to be exported to America so then they can do an interview with him. The British government refused it, and ever since then that story has been killed.
Died.
But his name initially was part of that circle.
They found a way
but
to
all of a sudden it doesn't matter.
And who's gonna fight it?
Who's gonna fight it? Just like when I just brought it up, what did you just say? The queen, because you don't want to go there. Yeah, like, there's certain pressured points, and even if you look, there's no news people reporting anything.
I haven't heard about it.
But no, when we're done, research it. He done a whole interview on the BBC channel. He denied it, and on top of that, but his name was part of that list.
Wow.
His name was part of that list, and everyone knows he was friends with the Epstein person, and he used to go to the island. By the time no one knew what was happening in that island, it was only after. Now there's so many other celebrities that it's not just him. So many celebrities were in that island, and all of them are afraid that full list is gonna come out.
Yeah, I've heard about that list
There's
coming out.
There's big names in that list.
Apparently Michael Jackson was there too.
Bruv.
Michael Jackson was there. Donald Trump apparently is there.
I'll not be surprised.
Apparently Donald Trump is there.
Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly so far.
Allegedly.
But hopefully they actually bring out that list.
But with the Prince Andrew one, you can research afterwards. That literally his name.
So you know what? That leaves us to the very last question. Is like, is there any hope? Like, can we ever truly be free?
I think the first step is to worry about yourself and trying to be mentally free. And when I say trying to be mentally free, is try not to accept all this stigmas that they give to you, or just accepting everything as fact.
Yeah.
Try to do your own research, and I think try to educate the people around you.
Right now, a form of education,
and especially your kids. Try to educate your kids, because I feel like, okay, fair enough. Like literally, if it's happened this way for a long time, the only way you can make a difference is to make sure that the future generations don't fall into the same traps, right? So I feel like people being honest with their kids about what it is and trying to show them early the signs of it. I'm not saying that's gonna it's not gonna prevent everything, because it's something that they're still gonna face. But I feel like us facing it and being honest about it and making sure our kids are prepared for it and people around us are aware of it, and always trying to speak up about it when you get a chance. But I say being mentally free, like literally, is the first step. Because a lot of people are like, mentally they're not free.
And when you're mentally free, making attempts to try and get other people
mentally free. Yeah, so it's like literally.
It's like what we're doing now.
Yeah.
Like we're talking about it so that other people can, even if you just catch a glimpse and you're like, okay, I'm going to look into that more.
And even if you don't agree, I feel like just starting a conversation about it is important to the healing.
Yeah.
Because as long as we're talking about it, that means it's in our forefront. That means, people, you're going to be thinking about solutions. And we're going to be
I like the fact that you use that practical example talking about it, because sometimes people were thinking, but I don't have what it takes. Talking about it is what it starts from there. And even if like you're talking about your children, a younger generation, you don't have to, like the example I give now with my kids, homeschooling my kids, I don't spend an awful amount of money. I just make sure in their spare time, you're going to the library. I take them to the museum. I take them to places where, and I expose them to things that are that I know that would influence their choice positively, instead of them me just freely leaving them to let the environment shape them. I am actively and intentionally involved in the shaping of their minds. So, and that doesn't cost nothing. It's just about you being intentional about doing that. And this is where I would speak spiritually as well, because for me, I think a lot of prayer and a lot of commitment to the things of God actually helps. God gives me the wisdom in how I should navigate these things, because not every day is not going to be the same. You know, you need to know when to change strategies. You need to know when to change ideas as they're growing, as their mind is evolving, as they're actually starting to start to challenge you as well. Say, yeah, but this, yeah, but that. They're giving you their own thoughts. You need to now learn how to adapt to these new changes that's happening in their minds as well. And for me, the wisdom of God is what helps my home for us to navigate those things. But thank you so much. This has been such a, you know, we have spoken about this so many times, so many times. But every time we talk about it, it's like a new angle. It's like new information. It's like a new enlightenment. You know, we're digging deeper and we're taking more.
Because there's so much to talk about.
There's so much. You know, we've gone way over time, but I thought it was necessary. I mean, it was necessary because I think the information is vital, and I trust that those people that it came to bless and those people that is there to enlighten will surely be enlightened. But thank you so much to my brother Abu. By the way, he's my little brother. I know he looks big, but he's my younger brother.
Big brother.
He's my younger brother. And thank you so much for listening as well. God bless you and God keep you. And please don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. And please leave your comments. Engage with us in the comment section. We want to hear what you think. We want to hear your thoughts, questions, or whatever you have to say. We want to engage with you. Share the video with your friends and family. Share with people who you know need this information, people who you know that it would help them or they can use it in or just share, please. Just share the video. God bless.
Like and subscribe.
God bless. Yeah, the short of it. Share, like, and subscribe. Thank you very much. Bye bye.